Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WARC Podcast. My name is Rica Facundo, managing editor of WARC APAC, and today's episode, we're diving into one of the most exciting and high stakes moments in marketing, the festive season. Whether it's Christmas, Diwali, Ramadan, these occasions bring out the best, the boldest, and sometimes the noisiest campaigns of the year. But before we get into our conversation, first a note from our sponsor.
Do you want to learn from the best and set yourself up to win in 2026? The most contagious event in London is here to show you how. Pack a year's worth of marketing smarts into just one day on December 2nd at London's South Bank Centre. You'll go behind the scenes of 2025's most innovative campaigns, hear the stories no case study reveals, and grab the insights you need to make better, braver work. Tickets are on sale now at mostcontagious.com. Don't miss out.
Joining me today is someone who's led our recent What's Working in Festival Marketing report, Biprorshee Das, India editor at WARC, who comes from the land of, I might butcher this, he'll tell me if I butcher this, but he comes from the land of Baromash Tero Porban in India. Hi, Bipro. Great to have you back on the podcast. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Hi, Rica. Always great to be here. And you absolutely killed it. Yes, that was perfect. Delighted you remember that Bengali sentence we discussed the last time that we did a podcast together. Incidentally, also on festive marketing.
Just remind me and the audience again, what exactly did I say? What does it mean?
Certainly. You said Baromash Taro Porbon. It is a Bengali sentence from Bengali is, of course, one of the many languages spoken in India, and incidentally, the one that I speak as well. And it literally translates into Baromash, that's 12 months, Taro Porbon, 13 festivals. And it refers to that ours is a land where we have a festival almost every month, or I would go to the extent of saying almost every day. And yeah, so what better time to talk about festivals than right now? We're just about past the big Indian festive season. We have Diwali, of course. Looking at Diwali next week, and as we are gearing up for Christmas and New Year, so it is the perfect moment to reflect on what's working and what brands can do better.
I personally love the festive season. I'm from the Philippines, and our Christmas season starts in what we call the Burr months, which is September, which is before all the Halloween festivities. So I really love it as a consumer, but I also know from the marketing side of things, that festive season is where marketing budgets peak, creativity takes center stage, but also at the same time, it is incredibly competitive. And I know we've been talking a lot about, Diwali in India, but your report, of course, is not just from the Indian lens, but also globally from festivals. Ramadan in Indonesia, you talked about Christmas, which of course is big in the UK, also touches on festivals such as Tet and Chinese New Year in Vietnam and in other Southeast Asian countries. So let's start from the top. What's the one big learning you want marketers to take away from this report?
And before I dive into that, Rika, I mean, you mentioned Halloween, and that's just an example that uh, reminds me how global we are getting. You know, that Halloween is something that's celebrated in the West, but it is slowly becoming a part of the Indian culture as well. It's something that we observe here too. So that's just about saying how the world is shrinking and how global we are getting. So back to what you asked me, and if I had to distill that one big learning in a line, Rika, I'd say that festive success belongs to brands that show up with meaning and not just noise. Festivals are emotional and commercial peaks rolled into one, and the best performing campaigns, they don't just ride the season, they become a part of it. They own a piece of the ritual year after year after year.
I love what you said because, of course, brands want to participate in the festive season because obviously that's where a lot of consumers have a lot of disposable income. They're looking to purchase gifts for their friends and gifts for themselves, but it's not just a transactional period, it's also highly emotional. And that's a great segue to the first theme that you identified in the report, which is called creating seasonal ownership. And I really love this phrase because it feels more active than just, participating in the season. It talks about brands earning the right to be part of a celebration and doing that consistently.
Exactly. You can't just show up because it's Diwali or Christmas week. You know, the most effective brands are the ones audiences already expect to see, almost like they're part of the ritual, like I was saying. Now Take John Lewis and Partners in the UK, for example. Every year, their Christmas film feels like an event in itself. In 2018, they told Elton John's real life story, how receiving a piano as a child changed Elton John's life. It reminded people that a thoughtful gift can last a lifetime. It wasn't just about products, but it was about that right emotion.
I mean, you mentioned that it was started in 2018, or you referenced 2018 rather, but that's a ritual every year. I mean, every time I talk to my British friends or my colleagues, they always talk about that John Lewis ad. It's emotionally driven advertising as a tradition.
Yes, and what is heartening is that the campaigns year after year, they are quite effective, as we love saying. That one single campaign, for instance, cemented John Lewis as the Christmas brand in the UK. It's a great reminder that festive fame is built on consistency and feeling, and not just frequency.
I think another great example that you highlighted in the report is Coca-Cola. And I think everyone associates with Christmas, but you've also noted how they've had to refresh that sense of ownership too. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Absolutely. And can you even say Christmas without Coca Cola? But then again, even an iconic brand like Coke, it risks fatigue. So the brand reimagined Santa himself with their World Needs More Santas campaign. It encouraged everyone to embody acts of kindness. It ran across over 70 markets globally and delivered over $1 billion of sales uplift. And what's powerful is that it didn't reinvent the brand, it just reinterpreted it. It's still about togetherness and joy, but through a modern and human lens.
I really like what you said, Bipro, because it also reminds me of some of the larger themes that we cover at WARC, which is the power of being consistent. It's incredibly difficult to do that right now. And having a strong emotional brand platform that you get to refresh and make relevant depending on the different occasions and usage. I mean, in this case, we're talking about Christmas, and you have that joy of a Coke, as you're spreading kindness during the festive season. And I think, that's an important point. You don't need to have like a separate festival campaign that's completely different. It still needs to be rooted in what your brand is talking about. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely, and herein I also want to talk about Aldi Australia. But during an inflationary year, this brand, instead of pushing expensive festive feasts, they celebrated side dishes. Now that's quick thinking on your feet, and that's also thinking out of the box to, use a cliche. It was clever, it was frugal, it was fun, and it turned a constraint into creative distinctiveness. It's a brilliant example of owning a fresh seasonal angle. And this report really highlights that brands don't need to outspend others. They just need to perhaps outfeel the competition. Festive moments amplify expectations. Consumers aren't just buying, they're looking for emotion, memory, connection. And the brands that deliver that authentically, they are the ones that create lasting salience.
I love this term that you said, Bipro. You have to outfeel your competitors, right? It's not, it's not just about outspending them. We all know that in very cluttered environments, creativity is key to breakthrough and to amplify your effectiveness. And key to creativity are those emotional connections. So that's an interesting thing to keep in mind. How do you outfeel your competitors? Because that's what will make them remember you, will make them share them with their friends, make that, that sense of recommendation and whatnot. So I think that's quite interesting as well. And I remember another thing that your report talked about, which is cultural nuance. Of course, we talk about something like Christmas is something that's quite global, but these are celebrated in different ways in different markets. Can you talk a little bit about what you meant by cultural nuance in the festival marketing space?
Yes, absolutely, Rika, because you so rightly pointed out. Festivals are celebrated, the same festival could be celebrated in different ways in different parts of the world. I mean, Christmas is celebrated very differently in India. In fact, even just in India, the festival is looked at very differently in different corners of the country. So it's very, very important that a brand understands and respects and embraces that cultural nuance. It doesn't try to paint everybody and everything with the same brush. And herein, inclusivity also comes through as a big driver.
What do you mean by inclusivity here for cultural nuance, Bipro?
What I'm hinting at here is that how inclusivity really strengthens festive storytelling. Consumers can tell when a brand is ticking a box versus when it's actually genuinely celebrating diversity. Let's go beyond India and look at HSBC's This Is My Chinese New Year campaign, or U Mobile's Grand Love campaign in Hong Kong and Malaysia, respectively. Now, both campaigns spoke to younger audiences who were feeling disconnected from traditional celebrations. HSBC showed real, imperfect family dynamics, while U Mobile narrated a heartfelt story about bridging generations through mobile technology.
Are you searching for pricing data that keeps your brand ahead of the curve? Acuity Pricing's competitor price tracking, promotions, and proposition tools help the UK's biggest brands act with speed, scale, and confidence, providing real-time, quality data sent straight to where you need it, when you need it. It's why 7 out of the UK's top 10 biggest retailers and more than 60 global brands trust Acuity Pricing to get the job done. Check out acuitypricing.com to book a demo and get started.
All right, let's go and talk about the second theme, which you called amplifying with tech. Another big takeaway from the report is how technology is reshaping the festive experience, and you call this a festive multiplier.
It really is, isn't it? Now, tech today is not just an add on, it's redefining how brands create community and connection during celebrations. We've seen examples from across the world. There's Telstra in Australia that use generative AI to power calls to Santa, and there's Lifebuoy in India that turned goddess Durga, during Durga Puja, as we call it here, it turned the goddess into an AR driven advocate for hygiene. Now, these campaigns show that technology can also make culture very interactive. It can turn a ritual into an experience, and that, Rika, is a very powerful shift.
And what I loved in the report was how you shared that technology is a bridge between cultural meaning and commercial outcomes. That feels quite spot on.
Thanks. That's a balance, isn't it? The festive season is full of opportunities to experiment. But then again, gimmicks don't last. When tech is used to humanize an idea and not just automate it, that's when the magic happens. Now, look at Cadbury's Not Just a Cadbury ad that used geo targeting to promote local stores during Diwali. And how much we've discussed this ad, haven't we, Rika and Shah Rukh Khan? But anyway, that's tech. That's tech in service of empathy.
So what I found interesting that while the what's working in report included examples from around the world, the underlying pattern is universal that we all want our festivals to feel a little bit personal, a little magical, and a little modern.
Absolutely. That's very well put, Rika. Thank you. Festive marketing today is about blending tradition with innovation. Consumers love heritage, but they also love play. AI powered fortune cookies from Oreo during Tet, or WhatsApp gift chats during Ramadan. The fusion of old and new is where I think creativity is really thriving right now.
All right, let's move to the last theme, which is about reimagining retail festivals. And this is where, I mean, from up to this point, we've been talking about festivals in the traditional sense, like, Christmas, Diwali, Chinese New Year. But this theme, what struck me is that it's more about the commercial type of festivals. So I'm thinking things like, Black Friday or Singles Day.
That's where the lines between cultural and commercial celebrations really blur. You know, and now retail events like Black Friday or Singles Day, they are no longer just about discounts. They are becoming global cultural moments. The challenge here is to really look beyond the price war. A discount can drive a transaction, but not necessarily build a relationship.
And this connects beautifully to the thought that when brands focus only on best-selling price, they erode, that sense of long-term brand equity that can also help the brand drive sales even beyond the festive period.
In this particular report, we saw this evolution across markets. Brands like Uniqlo in China and Flipkart in India, these two brands, they turned discount windows into experiences. Uniqlo, for instance, used data to move traffic from Alibaba to their physical stores through personalized coupons, creating value and differentiation. Flipkart realized that people value deals much more when they work to find them. So they hid QR codes and clues across newspapers, celebrity videos, even sports broadcasts. All of this made the sale period, very playful, very participatory. And then and this is how they're turning online events or festivals, if you will, into a nationwide ritual. And they work beautifully. The learning is clear. You have to make shopping participatory. And yes, make it feel like a festival since you're calling it so. Now, retail festivals can now be as emotionally charged as cultural ones.
So you talked about Uniqlo in China, Flipkart in India. Was there any campaign that stood out to you from the Americas, for example?
Oh, absolutely, it did. And not just in America and the UK and the Middle East as well, but this particular campaign by Brazilian e-commerce leader Mercado Libre. They used Black Friday and made it the country's biggest retail event. They did this thing called the Handshake Hunt. The iconic logo of the brand triggered a 45-day interactive coupon chase on Brazil's largest TV network. So again, that's what I'm talking about. They're making the experience participatory. They're encouraging people to, I mean, this is not just a discount period. Look for the best deals, work for it. I mean, have fun while you're doing it. So, yeah, this is one more campaign that really stood out for me.
So as we get to the end of this conversation, Bipro, what I'm hearing from you is that festive season is the perfect playground for really interesting campaigns that blend culture because, of course, festive seasons are a part of our culture with emotion because it's highly emotional time, but it's commerce, right? And you're gifting, you're buying things for yourself. So brands really need to blend all of these different elements if they want to take advantage of the season, not just for short-term sales, but of course to reinforce who they are even beyond the festive season. So before I close, I do have one last question. I want to go back to something you said last year. Festive marketing isn't just a season, it is a mindset. How do our listeners here apply that thinking in 2026 and beyond?
Absolutely, because it's not about looking back, it's about looking forward. Even as we head into the Christmas New Year period, brands can still apply these lessons, be culturally aware, emotionally intelligent, and commercially smart. And, the festive calendar has stretched now. People start shopping a lot earlier, and brands too start planning very early in the year. The deeper idea here is that festivals are emotional anchors in the year. They give people a sense of togetherness and optimism. For brands, it's a lot more than just a sales opportunity. It's a chance to earn meaning. So, as we wrap up this season and move into the next, I'd say focus on emotion over promotion, culture over clutter, and connection over conversion. That's how you make festival marketing last well beyond the season.
And on that note, thank you so much, Bipro, for working on the report and sharing your insights with our audience today. For those who want to read the report, you can find it on wark.com. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to the WARC podcast. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.